So middlewares, as name suggests, middlewares come in middle of something. So in this case, they come in the middle of request and response cycle. Middleware has access to request and response objects, and they can access the next function of request and response cycle as well. Few of the most important tasks for middleware are to execute any code, make changes to request and response objects, and end the request and response cycle, and also call the next middleware in the stack. Okay, so there are different types of middlewares, and we actually wrote a small middleware before. I'm going to explain to you in a moment, but let me quickly explain the different types of Express middlewares that are present. So the first one is the application level middleware, where we use app.use. We have the router level middlewares, we have built-in middlewares, we have error handling middlewares, and some third-party middlewares as well. Okay, so let's quickly jump to the code that we just wrote. Alright, so here, let me go to the code that we wrote, not the code that they wrote. Okay, alright, so in here we have a middleware function call. Okay, so in here we have the HTTP method for which the middleware function applies, the path or the route for which the middleware function applies, and this right here is the middleware function, okay, in which we have the callback argument. So here is the HTTP request argument for the middleware function called by REQ, that is request by convention. We have the response, and if we wanted to call the next middleware in the middleware stack, it would be the next. Okay, so let's quickly write a middleware of our own and understand this in detail. Okay, so let me quickly create a new file here. Let me just close this and create this file as middleware.js. In here I'm going to create the Express application, so I'll just say require Express, and I'm going to initialize this, so I'll say var app equals Express. Okay, so I'm going to create a logger which console.logs values, so I'll say var my logger equals function in which I'll have request, like I discussed before, response, and next. Alright, in here I'm going to say console.log, and I'm going to say logged. Okay, now I'm going to use this my logger. Okay, so I'm going to use application level middleware. The way we use application level middleware is by using app.use. So since this is within the application, so I'll just say my logger. And I'm going to call the same hello world middleware. So I'll say hash function request.response, in here I'll say response.send hello world, and I just start the server, so I'll just say app.listen, and I'm just started on port 3000. Alright, I'm just going to say node middleware.js. Okay, so the application started. I just don't have added, I haven't added the console.log here. but the application has started without any errors. Alright, and we don't need this v1, and make sure that I'm not sending anything. Alright, perfect. So if I send here and if I go back, it gives me a result of logged. Okay, so every time the app receives a request, it is going to print the message logged onto the terminal. Okay, in order for middleware loading is important. Okay, so the middleware functions that are loaded first are also executed first. So if my logger is loaded after the route to the root path, the request never reaches and the app does not print logged, because the route handler of the root path terminates the request response cycle. Alright, so that's what middlewares are. Now let's look at routing.